back. We had to take that holiday hiatus that everybody needs to do sometimes to get all the projects done and all the things in, but we are back to talk to you and hopefully help you with some ideas when it comes to social media and content creation. And so today we're just going to go through some content creation tips that we've been employing with our clients and in other places throughout this last season. So I want to introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth Doss, and I love bringing joy, whether that's through animated GIFs and helping brands create their own animations like Instagram stickers, etc., or comments across Facebook where they can have their own fun library, or as a social media content creator and manager, I help businesses repurpose some of their content, pulling out the best of and representing those in fun and unexpected ways to keep the conversation going and to just kind of show what you're up to behind the scenes. So that's me. I'm going to hand things over to Stephanie, who's going to kick us off today.
Thanks, Elizabeth. This just feels so surreal. We're doing what we encourage other people to do, is to take breaks when you need to. So coming back, yes, almost fully caffeinated this morning. I'm Stephanie Gillis-Polgard. I am the founder and chief strategist for Take Roots Consulting. I help businesses, and whether it's small business to big corporates, I've worked across the realm of public and nonprofit. Just telling their stories. How do we show up? How do we show up consistently? Who are we actually speaking to? Building out those strategies to, again, start the conversation. And this is why it's so complimentary when Elizabeth and I get together to talk about content creation tips, content strategies. One of the ones, and I'll tell you, Elizabeth, somebody came up to me over the holidays and said, "Hey, I'm using that cake pop strategy that you guys have talked about," which was so heartwarming. It was like, oh, they said they even have it up on their wall in their office. So that's great. And that's exactly it. We show up here with, yes, all the love and encouragement to help people show up, using the tools that are already readily available to you and giving you some of those strategy tips and tricks. And because particularly as a small business owner, if you're trying to do marketing or get your name, your business, your products, your services out there into the world, off the side of your desk, it can be pretty challenging. So hopefully some of the tips and tricks that we share with you today and in these conversations, you're able to then take and apply fairly easily into your business. That's why I love these conversations, Elizabeth, because we break it down so easily. It's not that people need to have high-end equipment, or they need to be on every platform, or they need to be using every single tool that's out there, because it's very overwhelming. So maybe what I'll do is get you, since I've already paved the path talking about that cake pop strategy, that's the perfect way to introduce how you view content and content creation, and then we'll take it from there. So over to you for now.
Unmuting would be great. Guys, we like us dusting off Riverside this morning was like, wait, how do we and what? Anyway, so please forgive us if we are a smidgy clunky today. No, so this is an idea that I had come up with, and it's a process that I use with my clients all the time, because I work with a lot of podcasters and people creating longer form YouTube content. And they can sit and talk about their expertise for hours, like most people can do that. And so but it's this idea of taking those longer pieces of content and how can you repurpose them. And so I think of this as, like Stephanie said, as a cake pop theory, where you have the big piece of cake, the whole cake that you have, which is your long form content or your long form idea or whatever. And then you take little bites of it. It has all of the flavors in it. It's got a little bit of that decoration on it. And then you use those smaller bites and you post those on social media to then point back to the longer form content, whether you house that on YouTube or it's your podcast, or like on Spotify, which they allow video content now, but it's a way for you to do that. And Steph, I've even been seeing this idea of, because we have the long form content, which could be like our half an hour show that we do here. You have the short form content that's just like the 90 seconds or less, that's just that little bit of a taste of the idea that points back. But they are actually, people are looking for the middle form content these days. So it's taking a little bit bigger. So think maybe a little Debbie snack cake. so so we've got the big cake and we've got the cake pops, but what is that middle ground of a snack cake that you can offer that's a little bit more elaborate or a little bit more? And so, because when I jump on someone's YouTube channel, if I'm looking for something specific and I see that they have an hour long video about it, I'm like, man, I don't have time for that. But if it's like 6 or 7 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can not fast forward, but do the playback speed and get everything I need out of that 6 to 7 minutes. But then you have the shorts where I'm like, I just need someone quickly to show me how to do this or this function. And so then you have the shorts that are those 90 seconds or less. So thinking in of your content in that way. And what I have found is it makes it so much easier in the planning side, because logistically you would only really, if you're just trying to show up consistently, you would only need to do 2 to 3 pieces of longer form content, and then you could get 3 to 4 short form pieces of content from that to be able to post and point back to the other realm. Why are we doing this? We ask. We're showing up
The why
to
is important, right?
to
Setting the stage, it really is about why take this approach.
yes.
Okay, Elizabeth, the
Well,
cake
I'll give
pops
you
are
mine,
really
and then
pop.
Stephanie's
Yes,
gonna give us hers.
absolutely.
My reason for doing something like this is you establish authority, but you also generate these keywords and this searchability, findability on on platforms for people to be able to find you for that. It used to be hashtags where you could make up your own hashtag and you're making up your own world. Hashtags don't work anymore. People stop using them. They just don't, because AI has gotten involved in the chat, in the conversation, and they are now scraping not only the words of the videos but the captions as well. And so you want to be thinking in that kind of SEO mind of saying, what is someone typing into search that my content is an answer for? One thing I do want you to do today, and I don't have the exact location of it, but you could probably Google it. Is in Instagram now, there's a setting that you need to turn on if you want to be findable, searchable by Google, because Google is now indexing Instagram content if you have this toggled on. So when you type into Google search, not only they used to only pull from YouTube to put up videos and put up conversations, but now they're indexing all Instagram content if you want to be found for that. Stephanie, I had a reel I posted, I think in 2023, because I'm not super active on my own account right now because I have some pretty big projects going on. And I've been getting steady activity, people commenting on that post from way back when, and people also following me from that one reel that I did 3 years ago, I guess. And so I was curious about it. And so I was thinking, what would someone type into Google that I might come up for? And sure enough, because what it is it's about how to uh, comment on Instagram with GIFs. And I'm when people type that in, my Instagram content, when they type that into Google, my Instagram content comes up as an answer for that. So that was a really long way around saying one reason why we're doing this longer form content is to show your knowledge, your credibility, but also just visibility, plain and simple. So I'll hand things back to you, Steph. Ooh.
Yeah, no, thanks. I actually, while you were talking, open up the Instagram, go to the settings.
Yes.
And if people aren't already following Adam Mosseri and you're active on Instagram, I would highly encourage you to do that. For anybody who doesn't know, Adam actually runs overseas Instagram. He is all things that, and he posts great content every week on his own account, explaining either updates that are coming that they're thinking about. And again, these types of things that Elizabeth has already shared about the searchability, when you go into the settings and activity, you'll even see how they've changed up. They're actually making it cleaner, easier for us non-techie people maybe to see the breakdown of who can see your content. Okay, now it's there. I am actually looking now. I have 247 accounts that are blocked for one reason or another, right? The spammy kind of stuff. And then how others can interact with you. Look and see what's there, what you see, your app and your media. So there's a whole bunch of other filters, if you will, or categories that they've now added in the back end. And so take some time. You sit there and you scroll enough through, or if you're me, guilty, you're going to give yourself 10 minutes and an hour goes by. Go in and spend some time on the settings and activity and make sure that you are taking advantage of it. The other thing I will say, as I looked and closed out Instagram, I see that Adam Mosseri, Instagram advice. He's already posted 2 new messages in the last 16 hours. So again, if you're on Instagram and you're not already following Adam Mosseri, you probably should, especially if you want to be more active on that platform. For me,
Just
there is
really quick,
always go ahead.
Steph, just before you move on to the
Yeah.
other stuff, if you're looking for how to get yours indexed, it's go into your settings, account privacy, make sure it's turned on to public, or private accounts turned off, which makes it public. But underneath that, it says allow public photos and videos to appear in search engine results, and toggle that on. So again, settings, account privacy, toggle on allow public photos and videos to appear if you want your business to appear. Okay.
Right. And I think that was the caveat, right? Because some people be like, I don't want to. Well, obviously, we're speaking to the people that want that visibility, want to grow, want to be searchable, and be able to have other people find them, because the platforms are just getting smarter. We talked in the fall, because it feels like forever ago that we had these conversations, in the notion that there's many people that are using ChatGPT and other platforms like it. But ChatGPT, I mean, it's a search engine now, right? Like it really, and it has been for a while, but thinking through that, I mean, when you're doing your own homework and investigation, how are you showing up? Do your own homework on your business and use chat to say, tell me what you know about, and plug in your business. It might be interesting to see what it captures for you as you do your, maybe an audit of whether it's your website, your social media accounts, and things like that, which is kind of a segue into cake pop strategy, long form, short form, all that good stuff. I love a sprinkle effect. I often talk about that. And Instagram is a great tool for me in the sense that I can use that platform. There's lots of ways to show up in Instagram specifically. So, from a short form perspective, reminders, these are friendly reminders for people. Stories are great. Whether they're 30 seconds, a minute, whatever, there's also embedded ways that you can use, like hyperlink to more content. I've used it a lot, whether it's through carousels to elevate a particular post in the Instagram feed, or maybe it is an updated newsletter, an article that's been written. It's on another platform. It's a podcast that I've been featured in. Things of this nature, and you're drawing attention to it in Instagram stories, and then using again the link feature to push people somewhere else. So again, this is the notion of how do we repurpose or repackage some existing content within the platforms that we're already on. And if you do it enough, it's muscle memory. So it's like now, almost blindfolded, I know where to punch and move and get creative with it. So one piece of content that you've identified as part of the cake pop strategy can actually go in 4 or 5 places inside one platform, because we have to remember people consume content differently.
Yes.
Some people love the scroll, some people love the carousel, other people will be drawn in with video or those short clips and then want to like hit that save button. And of course, you want to encourage them to do that. The algorithm loves when people are saving and sharing content. So when you're thinking about your K-pop strategy or content strategy, How are you going to do that? How are you going to get
Yeah.
people to engage? This is conversational. It should be conversational. Social media is about being social. So, how do we do that and not just push our content out and cross our fingers and hope somebody finds us? So, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in setting it up properly, showing up,
Yeah.
somewhat consistently with what works for you on the platforms where your audience lives. That doesn't mean you need to be everywhere. When people are just starting out, Elizabeth, I know when you're talking to your clients, they're like, but I was told whatever. I'm like, yeah, but find the first platform and get so good at that that then you can add on another one. I'm not sure where you want to take it, but I know that again, in your world, you're trying to help people tell a story across and in multiple ways using gifts.
Yep.
But for me, I know that it can be seriously overwhelming for the small business owner that's just like, hey, dude, I'm just trying to do this off the side of my desk. I don't know how
Yes.
to push all these buttons. And now people are telling me I need to be on this, this, this. And there's 5 more new social media platforms that have just popped up in the last 6 months. So
Right.
what do I do next? Over to you, Elizabeth.
Right. Um, I think it's jumping back to, staying with it, like cake pop theory, of this idea of pulling from multiple pieces. We talked about this, Stephanie, where you might have 5 ways to shine your shoes. I don't know, but 5 ways, and you may give, like, for instance, in Instagram stories, you might give 2 of the ways, but if you want the rest of the ways, then click the link and watch the full video. And so you can do that. By the way, Stephanie, did you know that on YouTube you can mark a time, a portion of time, and have the clip that you share start at that portion of time? So
Oh, so
let's say
timestamp it.
it is, but it when they click on it, it starts mid video at the point that you want them to see, which I think is really fascinating.
That's super cool.
So when you go to, I forget how to do it. Maybe it's like while you're watching. Anyway, I'll have to look into that. But
That's
along
next
those,
week.
yes,
We'll
there
write
we
a
go.
tutorial on how to do that.
Along those lines, Instagram Edits is a powerful app. I know a lot of people still love CapCut, and you may use Canva for stuff. I want you to consider, if you're using Instagram, to make your final stop before the Instagram choo-choo train is to go into the Edits app for several reasons. One, there is a little bit of a boost still if you're using the Edits app to post, like you post from the Edits app. Second of all, there are 2 new features within the Edits app that could really amp up your content. Let me see if I can explain. The first one is that you can add a mention that is clickable within your reels. So, for instance, you could even just add your own handle to it and say, if you liked this, follow me for more tips. Tap right here, and people can actually now in your reels tap the mention, and it will take them to that account. So if I'm posting a tip on gifts or whatever, I can put @Izzy Inc. in it, and I said, if you like this, give me a follow. And they can actually, obviously, they could tap your name at the bottom, but they're going to be like, wait, you mean I can tap in the video itself where you've put the sticker, or you can cross pollinate with others. So if you share, if I do a reshare of, or what do they call them? Stitch. That's the other term. That's the it's not rewind, rewire, repost. It's not repost, whatever it is within Instagram, where I take like Stephanie's content and I'm talking about it, and I was like, and I can add @TakeRootsPR if you want, and that people can tap it and then go follow Stephanie to see more of her content. So it's a way within the reel to be able to tag other people. Okay, but they have also allowed you to add links in your reels. Now, bear with me. It's not what you think. It is not any links that take you off the Instagram platform. They are allowing links within edits that link to other content on Instagram. How is this powerful, especially in the idea of the cake pop mindset? If you have the 5 ways to shine your shoes, you could have short clips that are each one of the 5 ways. So you have reel number 1, reel number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. But within edits, if you post those, you can link to the others. So if I am creating I've just completed the series. I'm creating reel number 5 on how to shine your shoes, the spit shine. I don't know. When I get to the end of that, you can go back and say if you liked this video, check out number 4. And at the bottom, I don't wherever it shows up with the link, you can actually link a series of content together. So it's a way for you to make that mid-form content I was mentioning earlier within Instagram that somebody could then binge watch your 5 tips on whatever that thing is. Or let's take, if you're an artist or a chef, you can have the first step of prepping the ingredients or gathering the ingredients. Then you can have another video that's prepping them, and then the third one where you're actually cooking, and then the fourth one where you're plating, etc. So you could link those shorter form videos together to create that behind the scenes that leads to the full piece of content. Or like Stephanie is working with a lot of entrepreneurs, they could show the progress of their journey in whatever the thing is that they're working on. And so anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there to check out on their things. I see where we are at time, but I want to give Stephanie the opportunity to respond and to close us out today. It's been great seeing you all.
Oh my gosh, Elizabeth, like again, these conversations could go on forever because when I hear you give something, it's always a build on. So while you're talking about the cake pop, theory and how to use that, and then building that into already an app, Instagram, edits specifically, and how they're layering on different features within to again keep people engaged within your own content.
Right.
And as soon as you said series, and how we can link it all back, I dropped those two I guess pluses, bonus opportunities within edits. I put them in the comments for our LinkedIn audience to see as part of this. But then it made me think about, do you remember guides? Do you remember when Instagram had guides and it was kind of like this portfolio thing and it was like, blog-esque inside of Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it reminded me of. It's another way now, given guides was a couple of years ago and it didn't last very long. I found it quite useful because it was that same thing. It was like, oh, here are all my how-tos, my step-by-steps, my everything. And I would put them in and create a guide for people that were landing on the page or that I was pushing there. And now I see such value in creating a Did You Know series, a how-to series on, and using this exact strategy within edits. Because again, the platform loves the fact that you're using its editing feature or app as opposed to something else. So again, bonus points, right? When you're an early adopter on this stuff, usually you do get that boost that you were talking about. And so the fact that they're layering more functionality within edits is a wonderful thing. So clearly content creation tips could go on and on. You can take them into a whole bunch of different realms. And even though we're talking, and we've been spending a lot of time talking specifically about Instagram, when people on, LinkedIn, for example, are watching this or wanting to apply this because that's where they show up more often, know that for the last, gosh, has it been a year? Or almost a year that LinkedIn has leaned in now to video and how video is showing up. So if you're active on LinkedIn and you're also active on Instagram, this is where I would start to do some of that mind mapping and that sprinkle effect. And where are you cross-pollinating on your own journey of both channels? So it's not limited. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
And just quickly, because we're talking about linking the cake pops together, and this is something I do on LinkedIn quite often. When I have created, or the company I worked with, we've got our short form reels with their longer form podcasts. We'll post the short form reel onto LinkedIn, but then say, see the comments. Because if you put the link in the caption, a lot of times LinkedIn kind of doesn't really want people to see that because they don't want you to leave the platform. So we'll in the first comment, we'll have the watch the full episode and have the link there. So the cake pop is the video on LinkedIn, but in the comment section you can add the link there. Now on YouTube, you can actually add the link in the description itself because it's looping within itself. So if you have a short form video, you can link it back to a full form video, and you can even go on the back end of the creator studio of YouTube and link those two videos together, to be able to say, if when they're done watching this one, offer them to go watch the full episode over here. So anyway, I just wanted to say there's ways to do this within each of the platforms that point back to each other. So back to you,
No,
Steph.
I think
Sorry.
it's so good. And I think to wrap up, because again, content can feel really overwhelming. I just want to remind people, I often share, particularly when I work with businesses, specifically on their social media or content strategy. I call them content pillars. Some people call them content buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And just again, as a friendly reminder, what do I mean by that? So I try to break down the content a third, a third, and a third. So the first third, if you think about it in your world and how and what you do, it's educational content, right? It is those how-tos. It is those step-by-step tutorials, the breakdown of your knowledge, because it really positions you, as a key opinion leader, a thought leader, thought leadership. So if people are trying to really grow in that way, this is how you can do that. The next third, really about inspirational. So that can be the behind the scenes, the lessons learned, like encouraging others to take that next step in their journey by sharing your own. And yes, vulnerability can be a little hard. So you gauge that based on how much you want to share. And that final bucket is really about you, your business, your products, your services. How do we build trust and confidence and credibility? We need to show up as ourselves. And so again, I love the sprinkle effect. So if you're thinking about how do I do this, cake pop theory, or put it into practice, get super clear on your content pillars, your buckets, do some mind mapping, and certainly reach out or drop questions in. We're happy to, take those into the next conversation and break it down a little further. So while this is the first conversation of 2026, it certainly will not be the last. We want to thank everybody for being a part of it today, for this week, this month. Just keep showing up. Thank you and have a great week. As always, cups up.
Oh.